update for week 21, excuse me, days 141 through 144. So days 141, I hiked alone for most of the day, beautiful views, of course, and took a break at this really beautiful spot called Deep Lake, and there were a lot of like camping areas around there, so I was sorry I couldn't camp there. Unfortunately, the mileage didn't work out. So, but I had lunch there and was contemplating a swim, but didn't do it. I kind of regretted that decision. So, if you go by Deep Lake, swim in it. It's beautiful. And then met up with my group at night, and we actually went swimming. We had like not quite a night swim, but a later swim, and it was actually getting kind of cold, but we just decided to do it anyway, and it was really fun. So a good way to quell any inflammation. Like, I'm having some inflammation in my Achilles tendon, so it's nice to like put them in ice water sometimes. So put my full body in there. So yeah, good day. Day 142, hiked into Stevens Pass. We hiked about 17 miles. And there were some pretty steep areas, so it was quite a day, even though it was under 20 miles. Got a hitch into Leavenworth, and then just got a hotel with my friends and started on chores and that sort of thing. And I got some food, of course. And Leavenworth is a really cute town, so it's kind of like an alternate place to stay versus like Stevens Pass or Snoqualmie. So we chose to go into Leavenworth, and it was a really cute Bavarian town. So lots of German stuff going on and really adorable. So if you can get in a hitch into Leavenworth and you're a PCT hiker, I would actually recommend that. There's a lot of good food, good ice cream, gluten-free options for dessert. So I went to this little like gingerbread place that had gluten-free stuff, so it was great. So highly recommend going into Leavenworth. And then next day, day 143, we took a zero. So got to enjoy the little town, and it was actually pretty crowded because it was close to like a holiday. So lots of people, lots of hustle and bustle, but made it kind of fun. So yeah, just did some laundry, called my parents, and that sort of thing. So yeah, good day in Leavenworth. Next day, day 144, hiked out, and I think we hiked about 19 miles, and stopped at this place called Vahilla Lake for lunch and a swim. So we've been swimming a lot lately because the weather's been nice. So also a beautiful lake, and lots of day hikers there because it's near like a parking area, so like within 5 miles. So yeah, quite a bit of people there, but that's okay. Got to talk to some folks and enjoy in the sun. So yeah, hiked to Vahilla Lake, and then unfortunately, as I was hiking or getting up from a break, I tripped over this little root, and my shoe, my Brooks Cascadia 14s, totally ripped like all the way across my left foot. So I'll show you that a little bit later. But yeah, it just was kind of disappointing because I was going to use those shoes. Everything else was great about them. Like the tread is awesome. It was still awesome after like 400 miles. So I was going to use them partially in the Sierra, but now I can't do that. So probably go back to REI and try to maybe get a new pair or something, or just like at least tell them about it, because that's like the new version of the Brooks Cascadias, and I don't think they're as strong as the 13s. So I have 13s now. I went back to the stronger pair of shoes, seemingly. So yeah, unfortunately that happened, and then hiked to a beautiful lake called Pear Lake. So lots of lakes, lots of swimming, and great town in week 21. So I will give you an update for the rest of the week pretty soon here. update for week 21, days 145 through 147. So day 145 had, we were camping by a lake, so we had a little casual morning because we didn't have to do like a ton of miles that day. We figured timing would work out, so took a little bit of time in the morning by the lake and made oatmeal, and there was like wild huckleberries all over the place, so I put some wild huckleberries in my oatmeal and made hot chocolate and had a nice morning, so that was great. And then hiked into Glacier Wilderness, which is infamous for like bigger climbs in Washington, so we knew that was coming. Yeah, so that was a good day. It's nice to start off the day without like rushing, so relaxing first part of the day. So then had some climbs. So met up with, so I was hiking with Calzone, and then we met up with Steve and TW at night and had a beautiful mountainous view with glaciers on it. So I don't remember what mountain that was, but just had like a panoramic view of this mountain during sunset, and so I decided to cowboy camp. Yeah, it was just such a beautiful spot to cowboy camp. The stars came out, and had a view of the mountain all night, so that was great. Day 146 was the day we hit 2,000 miles. So that was exciting, but unfortunately the trail was testing us that day. So yeah, excited to hit 2,000, and we also saw 3 bears, which is the first time I've ever seen a bear on trail, actually, was the day we hit 2,000 miles. Go figure. So yeah, saw 3 bears eating berries next to the trail, which was neat. But unfortunately, there was like huge climbs, which I guess was to be expected, but it was just like really tough. And the trail in this area, so the area after Stevens Pass is kind of unkept, so it gets really skinny in places. It's overgrown, lots of rocks, lots of trees to get over, unfortunately. So if you're a PCT hiker, just note that the trail after Stevens Pass is a little bit tough to hike through. But yeah, so since it was kind of unkept, we had a little accident. So Calzone, luckily I was hiking behind her, and she slipped off the trail and like hit her face on the trail because it was like a steep like hill on the one side. So she kind of like fell off and hit her face and was like hanging on the side. So she cried out, and luckily I looked up and ran over to like help her up, and her face was like bloody. So I kind of went into wilderness first aid mode, stayed calm and everything, and wanted to make sure it wasn't like a head injury or something. So made sure it wasn't. Luckily, it was, I mean, it was horrible that it happened, but she didn't break her nose or anything like that. It's just like cosmetic stuff, and it was painful for her. So cleaned her up, got back up, and kept on trekking. So we made it to this beautiful lake called Mica Lake. It was so blue. So we stayed there and had some fun, and the guys cheered us up. Yeah, it was a good end of the day at least. But yeah, and then celebrated 2,000 miles. So had some treats, and we filmed this silly little video too. So I might include that on here, of us like dancing by the lake for 2,000 miles. So that was fun. And day 147, kept on hiking, lots of incline through the Glacier Wilderness. And what else happened that day? I think it was just a lot of hiking. So I think we did about 22 miles, but it felt like 28 because there was just so much incline. So yeah, lots of intense hiking. But all in all, pretty good week. Lots of lakes, and hit 2,000 miles. So I will update you guys soon on week 22.
worth it. This is like ringing in our 2000th mile.
This is so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh. This is Sierra-esque.
Yeah. Man. I wonder if people feed him.
Maybe.
You looking for food? Gear update for week 21. So not too much to report this week. Just that I have too many clothes and my pack is pretty big. So I got a shipment in Leavenworth and just decided to keep some of my stuff until I got to the post office in Stehekin. So my pack is like a lot bigger than usual. So I'm like hiking along with this huge pack and all these other people have like really tiny packs. So I was okay with it though, but it did make the tough climbs in Glacier Wilderness that much harder, unfortunately. So I probably should have ditched some of my clothing and gear earlier, but I'll go into that in week 22 because that's when I actually ditch some of my gear and send my gear home. So anyway, I will have more of an update for you guys next week on the gear. But yeah, this week was just kind of big pack, lots of gear that I was carrying. So anyway, I will update you guys soon on that.
I have no words for what just happened, but this. My whole foot is exposed.
We were just talking
I don't know how this happened
about
here.
somewhere on one of these
I bet it was that one,
routes.
but I ended up here. Like I don't know.
How does this happen? I don't know.
Well, I just got a bunch of duct tape in my box, so I know
Yes.
what I'm doing with it.
All right. Oh.